Oh, that blue sky is so nice to see. After the week we've all had, it's great to see the blue sky again. See some of the dormant creations start coming back to life. You can hear some birds in the background there. It's been a tough week for everybody, a lot to adjust to, but hopefully we get a little bit of time to relax and let go of some of that stress this weekend, and maybe videos that we're putting up this weekend will help you with that. I know Jacob's got some that he's hopefully posting for Sunday morning. And I just wanted to share with you some thoughts on the Old Testament reading that's in the lectionary this week. If I were to ask you, what is one of your favorite Old Testament stories? Maybe this one wouldn't be on the top of the list, but I know it would be pretty close. Story of David and Goliath. It's one we all learn as children, and one that seems to endear itself to us. We like the story of the little guy. But the reading this week is actually about how it was David got selected for the role that he was going to play in God's unfolding plan. What had been happening was that the ancient Israelites were these tribes spread out all over the place. So they were easy pickings for invaders, and that happened quite often. And so the whole book of Judges is really about these imperfect people that would rise up on occasion and defend the ancient Israelites, gather them together, lead them, kind of be like tribal elders. They were called judges. That's the book of Judges. And at the end of it, they say, God, we really, really want to have a king. If we had a king, then we'd have a leader, a country, we'd be unified. God, could we please have a king? And the people then are warned, though, well, you might not like having a king. Putting one person in charge of everything like that, well, sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's not so good. And it may let you down. I don't know if you really want to have a king. The people say, no, 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 we really want to have a king. So God finally relents and says, okay, I'll give you your king. And the first king he chooses is Saul. And complicated reasons, that doesn't work out so well. He's actually got somebody else in mind. Now, this is the story of how that unfolds. That's the reading for this week from 1 Samuel. So I want to read it to you, and I'm going to be reading from the Message, which is a translation that I think is pretty modern and is easy to hear and understand. This is from 1 Samuel chapter 16. God addressed Samuel. So how long are you going to mope over Saul? You know I've rejected him as king over Israel. Fill your flask with anointing oil and get going. I'm sending you to Jesse of Bethlehem. I've spotted the very king I want among his sons. I can't do that, said Samuel. Saul will hear about it and kill me. God said, take a heifer with you and announce, I've come to lead you in worship with God, with this heifer as a sacrifice. Make sure Jesse gets invited. I'll let you know what to do next. I'll point out the one I want you to anoint. Samuel did what God told him. When he arrived at Bethlehem, the town fathers greeted him, but apprehensively. Is there something wrong? Nothing's wrong. I've come to sacrifice this heifer and lead you in the worship of God. Prepare yourselves, be consecrated, and join me in worship. He made sure Jesse and his sons were also consecrated and called to worship. When they arrived, Samuel took one look at Eliab and thought, here he is, God's anointed. But God told Samuel, looks aren't everything. Don't be impressed with his looks and stature. I've already eliminated him. God judges persons differently than humans do. Men and women look at the face. God looks into the heart. Jesse then called Abinadab and told him to Samuel, and Samuel said, this man isn't God's choice either. Next, Jesse presented Shammah. Samuel said, no, this isn't the man either. Jesse presented his 7 sons to Samuel. Samuel was blunt with Jesse. God hasn't chosen any of these. Then he asked Jesse, is this it? Are there no more sons? Well, yes, there's the runt, but he's out tending the sheep. Well, Samuel ordered Jesse, go get him. We're not moving from this spot until he's here. Jesse sent for him. He was brought in, the very picture of health, bright-eyed and good-looking. God said, "Up on your feet, anoint him, this is the one." Samuel took his flask of oil and anointed him, with his brothers standing around watching. The Spirit of God entered David like a rush of wind, God vitally empowering him for the rest of his life. So that's the story of David being anointed. And I really love this verse where the first brother is passed before Samuel, and God tells Samuel, looks aren't everything. Don't be impressed with his looks and stature. I've already eliminated him. God judges persons differently than humans. Men and women look at the face. God looks into the heart. And through these words, God is speaking to us. In the next video will be some reflections on this story. Take care.